26 years old. I was diagnosed with ITP in September of 2004. I was engaged in June of 2004 and spent the summer hiking, wakeboarding, and planning my wedding. I felt fine the whole time. Didn't think anything was wrong, but I started to notice bruising and these little dots all over the place, which I now know are petechiae. And finally, at the end of the summer, my family convinced me to go see the doctor in September. I remember sitting in the doctor's office with Will, and he told me that it could be leukemia or idiopathic thrombos, and he rattled off some long word, and I just felt like I was punched in the chest, and all I could think of was like, oh my gosh, leukemia. I think I went out into the parking lot and just kind of cried and couldn't really think about anything else. The next day he called and said there's no signs of leukemia, but your platelets are dangerously low. So he sent me to a hematologist. By the time I got to the hematologist, I had 1,000 platelets. And I think I was lucky though, because he didn't feel like he had to send me to the hospital to get infused. Instead, I was put on prednisone. And this is all during the time where I'm planning my wedding and thinking in the back of my mind, like, this is only 6 months away. And I think I spent every Monday at, the doctor's office getting a CBC, and I remember telling him, okay, now you have 3 months left, and I don't want my face swollen, and I'm going to fit in my dress, so get me off of this prednisone. And everybody at the office knew what day our wedding was and how long they had. But during that time, there was just the roller coasters. I was completely emotional, and I think that I had every side effect possible with prednisone. I would have nightmares. My face did swell up, and I think my emotions were the worst. I spent hours on the phone with my mom where all I would do is cry, and she would read me the Bible, and at times I just couldn't see past, that moment, thought there would be no tomorrow. After I was diagnosed with ITP, it was like my whole world changed, and I had a really hard time dealing with it, and I think partly that was the prednisone, but thanks to my husband and my family, I just really tried to keep going, and we still went snowboarding every weekend, and the wedding turned out beautiful. I think by that day, I was down to only 6 milligrams of prednisone and was maintaining a decent amount of platelets. So miraculously, my face wasn't puffy. I fit in my wedding dress, and it was just a beautiful celebration. I stayed on prednisone for about a year and a half and managed to get all the way down to about 3 milligrams, but after a while that wasn't sustaining my platelets sufficiently, so I didn't want to go back up in dosage, so I finally got brave enough to try a windrow treatment. I was really scared at first, but my husband came with me and it was fine. I had some mild side effects, but I was eventually able to get off prednisone completely, and that was a day we just totally celebrated. My friends got me flowers and cards, and it just felt really great to be off of prednisone. I have to get windrow about every 3 months now, and it's not bad. It seems to get easier every time. I still try other things like vitamins and trying hypoallergenic diet right now to see if there may be a hidden food allergy, but all in all, I finally gotten to the place where it's manageable. Today I'm going to get my platelets counted again. It's been about 3 weeks since my last CBC, and I was at 187,000, so I guess we'll see where I'm at today. Still get nervous every time. What is a CBC? I don't know exactly what it stands for, but to me it means going about every 2 weeks. My husband picks me up from work and we drive to the hematologist office, and while I get my blood drawn, we try hard to make everybody laugh in there, which is different because at first I was sitting and crying the whole time, but now we make people laugh. And when that's done, they give me a printout that has my platelet levels, and I either leave a little bit disappointed or skipping. Not where I wanted them to be, but I guess that's not bad. The most difficult part about having ITP is just the roller coaster, because even though you know that your platelets could go up and down, I get so disappointed whenever they do drop, because it's just like I want them to stay where they're at or go up, and that's not always the case. And I think that's been the most difficult part, is just not knowing about it. The thing that has helped me most living with ITP has been my husband and my family. That's why I look at this kind of not just as my story, but as my family's story. My husband has been to every doctor's appointment with me, has been there every step of the way. And my family, I just know that there's always someone praying for me and thinking about me, and that's just been a huge thing. And then of course there's my little doggy. I call him my therapy dog. This is my little therapy dog, and we're going to talk to you about what ITP is. Well, my understanding of it anyway. ITP stands for idiopathic or immune thrombocytal blah 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 blah. Platelets in your blood are what makes it clot. When you get a cut or bang your hand, the platelets clot the blood. Well, my spleen has decided to eat my platelets, so I don't always have a normal amount of platelets. So in a nutshell, that's what ITP is. I don't think that many people know what ITP is. It's not very common, and so people aren't very aware of it. So I think, after all that I've been through with it, and now that I can finally kind of face it head on, I want to help other people just be aware of it and know what it is. And even those who are just starting their journeys, to just let them know that there are others out there, and just, that there's support. And that you should be patient with people on prednisone. To someone who's just been diagnosed with ITP, I would say that I know it's hard, but try not to be afraid of it. I spent 2 years of my life living in complete fear and with total anxiety, and it just completely controlled my life. And I look back now and I think I didn't have to be so afraid of it. And so I would just say, take the ups and downs in stride, and go on living your life. My family always encouraged me to stay positive, and even my doctor would say, yeah, you're fine to go snowboarding, go ahead. And so I would just say, just get through it, and tomorrow will be better.